Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. In general, there's when we speak about the redemption, the Geula, there's two general parts to this. There's the general redemption and there's the personal redemption. And once enough people experience a personal redemption, that will trigger the general redemption. Just exactly what the ratio needs to be and how exactly it's going to turn out, we'll find out, maybe today. But generally, each person in their own personal life has to connect to God in a way that they are personally redeemed. And of course that involves helping others as well, so it's contagious. But that's the idea. So what's this main idea of personal redemption? One of the aspects of it is really arousing a love for Hashem, a way where a person feels a powerful love for Hashem in a tangible, consistent way, that through that they will be redeemed. Because when they realize Hashem's greatness and they feel within their heart a love for Hashem, automatically it will cause them to be redeemed from all of their personal struggles. So it's a very nice idea, but how do we get it to happen? Because everyone wants to feel love for Hashem, but how do we actually bring it about? Well, an easy way to arouse this love for Hashem is to begin by recognizing how much Hashem loves us. And you'll notice when you meditate upon this idea and you realize how much Hashem loves you, automatically you're going to feel love back for Him. And just by recognizing the blessings you have in your life, the moments, the things a person has to every day focus on the things that they're grateful for, to realize that those blessings are coming from none other than from Hashem, of course. And a person could always compare with others and even to look at people who are either spiritually, physically, or financially less fortunate than them, and to say, wow, and to be grateful that Hashem has spared you from that difficulty. And through that, Hashem not only will you arouse mercy from Hashem upon yourself, but also upon that person who's struggling. It's very important that a person looks at others around them and becomes grateful to realize that, wow, in certain areas they're a lot more fortunate than others. And automatically they'll feel love for Hashem. Another way to really connect to God in a way of love, of course this comes with fear as well, because as you know, love and fear are the two main emotions that you connect to God with, and they're both necessary components. You can't have a complete relationship with Hashem with just love or just fear. You need both, and they actually work together and they add to each other. The more you love Hashem, the more you fear Him. Because the more you love someone, the more you fear separating from them. The more you fear disappointing them, the more you fear hurting them. And the more you fear someone, the more you love them, the more you're interested in them. So to really arouse a love for Hashem, it takes time, but it's you have to nourish it. And a way to really to take it to the next level is to make the Torah your Torah, to make Hashem your God. What does that mean? A person has to learn the parts of Torah. Of course, a person has to learn every part of Torah. And a person can't just focus on one field of Torah because they will be lacking in their Torah studies. But a person has to take time to learn the parts of Torah that really excite them. For me, when I first started getting involved in learning Torah, I was very excited to learn Chumash and the stories, especially in Bereshis and Midrash and those types of stories. And stories of tzaddikim really had and continues to have a powerful effect on me, Baruch Hashem. So it's very important for me, and I'm sure there's many others like me, to focus on that type of Torah studies, at least for a certain amount of time every day, to really increase the personal love one has for Hashem, to make the Torah your learning, your Torah study. And the Alter Rebbe says something very, very beautiful in chapter 47 of Tanya that we've spoken about in previous videos, but it's always worth repeating. That is the idea that when a person makes Hashem Elokeinu, that is their personal redemption from Egypt. The Alter Rebbe starts off that chapter by saying there's a verse in Torah that says every generation a person has to see themselves as if they left Egypt. The Alter Rebbe takes it a step further and says a person has to look at themselves every single day and look and tell themselves that today Hashem took me out of Egypt. And what is this? What is this beautiful idea? This is the leaving of the soul, the freedom of the godly soul from within the confines of the Yetzer Hara. And he uses the word the skin of the snake. And how do you do this? You make Hashem your God. When you realize that Hashem is Elokeinu, the infinite, beyond infinite God who's completely above the world is my personal God, and He's interested in me personally, and He's paying full attention to me, and cares if I perform the commandments, and care if I'm happy and I'm involved with Him. He's interested in me. When a person does that, they've immediately removed themselves from Egypt. because how a person is no longer in Egypt when they realize that Hashem is their God, that Hashem is interested in them specifically, and in turn they'll have an interest back in Hashem. They've left Egypt. So this is something that to think about, and really for me, this idea is really relevant. When you're in a very busy environment, it's hard to think about these things. But when you're alone, or you're especially if you're going somewhere alone, and you're not around many other people, around many other distractions, many other, even strong spiritual people who give you the motivation. But when you're with them, you're kind of taken by the moment. When a person's alone, that's a great time to reflect on these ideas about the love Hashem has for you specifically, and how it says each and every one. Hashem loves each and every one of us as if we're His only child that He had in His old age. And not only that, it says that the world was created for each and every one of us specifically. Therefore, we should always realize the potential that each and every one of us have. That if Hashem is telling us that the world was created for each one of us individually, that means each one of us individually has the power to change the world and save the world. Therefore, a person, the Alter Rebbe says in Torah Or, also in Likutei Torah that the Tzemach Tzedek edited, that when a person looks around them and they see everything that's happening in the world as part of them, meaning when a person sees a tragic event, they say, how could I have prevented this if I would have served Hashem in a greater, deeper way? When a person does that, that arouses them to realize their own potential. And something very interesting that people say about the Rebbe and all tzaddikim is, what do the tzaddikim really want? What are the tzaddikim really interested in? The tzaddikim are interested in each and every one of us realizing how much potential we have. That's the dream of the tzaddik. The dream of the tzaddik is that every other Jew realizes how much potential they have. Because we all have the tzaddik within each and every one of us. So let us work on these ideas and bring them and increase them, and let us all be blessed with a overflowing love and fear of Hashem, and with the coming of Moshiach, God willing.